Hello and welcome to HSVC 250. This is the first week and we're going to do a brief course overview and just a brief introduction to ethics. I'm your instructor for the course. I'm Liz Stevens, and I'm also, in addition to your instructor, the program director for the Bachelor of Arts in Human Services program. You can read a little bit more about me in the Blackboard shell. And this is me with students at our most recent graduation. Here's what we hope that you will learn by the end of this course. That you will be able to understand and apply ethical decision-making procedures, that you'll identify your own personal values and beliefs, because these are really the foundation of your own personal ethics. That you'll analyze professional human services and personal codes of ethics and compare and contrast the various philosophic and professional approaches to ethical decision-making. And these are the books that you will be using. One is an actual textbook and the other is an ebook. The textbook, the Summers Flanagan text, has a kind of a slant towards graduate students in counseling practice, but the concepts discussed are applicable to all human services practice at all levels. So I really like this book because it is so well applied to many different areas. There'll also be some additional required readings and videos that you'll find in the course modules each week. And here is how you'll be graded in this course. 20% of the course is your participation in the weekly discussion board. 15% of the course is quizzes, and then the rest of the course grade will be divided between 3 different application essays. And you can find information about all of this in the syllabus and in the Blackboard shell, or the Blackboard course, under the assignments tab. We'll be using SafeAssign in this course. SafeAssign is a text matching software that is part of the Blackboard system, and it's designed to check your assignments against assignments submitted by other students, information that's found on the internet or in other books or articles or journals. When you upload your assignment to Blackboard, it will automatically upload to SafeAssign. And then you need to check and look at the SafeAssign originality report of your assignment to make sure that you don't have anything that's been copied directly from anybody else, that you've paraphrased and summarized things into your own words, and that you've cited your sources correctly. You will have 2 chances to upload your assignment. So the first time you upload it, then I would suggest you look at the report to see where you might need to make some changes. In addition, after you upload your assignment, check the box next to Plagiarism Tools to add your paper to the Global Reference Database. And by doing that, you're protecting your own intellectual property against future plagiarism. So just some expectations I have of you as a student in this course. One is that you take an active role in your own learning. So look through the whole course shell, review the syllabus and the course topics for each week. Print out the schedule so you have it handy so you can refer to it. Review the assignment instructions ahead of time so that you can start soon enough to meet all the requirements. Also, please keep in touch with me. Ask questions. Ask it through the Blackboard discussion board. Ask it through email to me. Ask it by phoning me. I really do like to hear from you and to hear all your questions. Make sure you manage your time wisely. This course does require a lot. I usually like to say for a 5-credit course that you plan to spend 5 hours a week on the course. Reach out to other students in the class. If there's somebody who you really connect with on the discussion board and you want to reach out otherwise, please do that. Study together, discuss cases together, give each other support with how much work you have to do. It's really good to connect with other students. And please, please, please give me feedback throughout the quarter. either through the mid-course evaluation or directly through email. I really do want to hear from you. In terms of participation, don't forget to log onto the discussion board several times per week and practice professional communication in your postings. So if you need help at any time, here's all my contact details. Your advisor is also very available for help. Your librarian can really help you with assignments. There's the help portal if you're having any technical difficulties. And we also have a community information shell in Blackboard for the Bachelor of Arts in Human Services. So you have some general questions about the program. So this course is about ethics, and why are we concerned with ethics? Well, there's many different reasons. There's both the internal benefits of being an ethical person versus the external consequences of not being an ethical person. So the internal benefits is kind of the positive view of things, that it's part of human nature to strive for goodness, for justice, and for fairness. The negative view is that we are good or ethical because we fear consequences, legal consequences or financial consequences, professional consequences, personal consequences. So maybe there is some mixture of this in the world, but I'd like to go with the positive view, that we are always striving to be better. So ethics is how we apply the knowledge and skills that we possess and how we determine what rules we want to follow, what our norms are, and what we value. And our ethics is really the heart of our identity, both our moral, personal identity and our professional identity. So here's some different terminology related to ethics. Before we look at the issue of ethical competence, it's kind of important to understand some of the different concepts that are related to ethics. So morality is a system of beliefs about what is right or wrong, and what is good behavior and what is bad behavior. And morality is often dictated by an authority outside of ourselves, outside of the individual, such as a society or a religion. And morality comes from the Latin word mos, M-O-S, which means custom. Now, legal obligations are the parts of our work or our lives that are covered by laws or statutes. And in terms of our work, it's things such as client confidentiality, duty to warn, and our responsibility to report abuse and neglect. These are all covered by laws in the state of Washington and in other states as well throughout the country. So laws are often very much black or white. This is right or this is wrong. Standards of care are the services or interventions that are based on sound theoretical principles, on evidence-based practice, and that we can apply appropriately and reliably to the population that is being served by the agency where we work. So these standards of care are generally agreed to be good practice by the people in our profession, good human services practice. Values, there are two types of values, personal values and professional values, and hopefully these match up to a good extent, but they don't always. Values are our fundamental beliefs, what we value and consider most important. So our personal values are beliefs about what is good and desirable, and they can be based on knowledge, morals, or cultural influence, but they're also very individualized. And often we learn our personal values at a pretty young age through our families and our community and our schools. Sometimes we don't even realize that we've adopted some of these values. Professional values are the beliefs or characteristics that are valued by our profession. They include such things as respect, client self-determination, empathy, human dignity, being non-judgmental, etc. Now, taking all that together, we kind of come to ethics. Ethics are the values, morality, laws, and standards in action. So they are the rules or standards governing the conduct of a person who is a member of a profession. And it comes from the Greek word ethos, which means character. codes of ethics or ethical standards are developed by each profession, um, and ethics can sometimes be less black and white and more shades of gray. Um, Things are not always 100% clear when we're looking at ethical issues. Sometimes something is more right or less wrong as opposed to absolutely right or wrong. And following the law can be part of the ethical process, but not always. So these are some of the types of ethical dilemmas that we might come into contact with in the helping professions. And Reamer describes an ethical dilemma as a situation where professional duties and obligations rooted in core values clash, and where the professional must decide which values take precedence. So some of the ethical dilemmas, sometimes we have a conflict in our beliefs or morals related to what the agency believes, or issues related to client confidentiality, privacy, and informed consent, professional competency issues, issues around client autonomy versus what we think the client should do, challenges in the system itself which create ethical dilemmas, conflict of interest that we might have in a particular situation, issues related to boundaries, issues related to having dual relationships. And we're going to talk about all these in depth this quarter. Sometimes there's some ethical issues related to documenting our work with clients or how we end our work with clients. An ethical dilemma really requires reflection, examination, awareness, and conscious decision making, where the choice is not always between what we believe to be right and what we believe to be wrong, but between competing rights or competing wrongs. And I think boundary issues, professional boundary issues, are the most commonly reported ethical issues. And they can be related to a boundary between a client and a staff member, between a staff member and a supervisor, etc. So what we hope by the end of this course is that you will have an ethical toolbox with which to draw from. And in your toolbox will be the history of ethics and the different ethical theories that we study this quarter, clarification of your own values and what's really important to you, the professional ethics codes that govern our work, and then an ethical decision-making process that we can use to help us to come to resolve ethical dilemmas. Also in your ethical toolbox will be your work supervisor and your colleagues at work and your classmates who can help you to think through ethical problems. Also, some kind of legal assistance or knowledge of the laws and rules and policies will also help us in our ethical decision making.